Hey guys, Alex here. Thank you so much for joining me for today's full body Pilates workout. Today is a full length Pilates class. We're going to be stretching, strengthening, and toning our entire bodies. This workout doesn't include any equipment. However, if you want to step up the intensity for some of the moves, you can throw on a set of ankle weights. But even without the weight, you're still going to feel a good burn throughout the body. This is a super effective routine, and you're going to feel amazing after completing it. This workout includes a warm-up and a cool-down, so let's go ahead and get right into our warm-up. We're going to sit on the mat in a cross leg or a kneeling position, whatever's more comfortable for you. We're going to set ourselves up with really good posture, stacking the vertebrae one on top of the other. Shoulders are down, neck is long, chin is parallel with the floor, and the crown of the head is elevated up toward the ceiling. We're going to place our hands on our abdominals and get into our Pilates breathing pattern. So we're going to breathe deeply in through the nose, filling the back of the rib cage, and slowly out through the mouth, letting the rib cage deflate. Inhale in through the nose, and exhale out through the mouth, letting the shoulders relax as you breathe out. Good. Inhaling and exhaling. Now, if you haven't already, add that core engagement. So we breathe in through the nose, and as we exhale, we draw our abdominal wall in toward the spine, tightening the core. Good. Inhale, let those abdominals relax. And exhale, draw your navel in toward your spine throughout the entire range of exhale. Good. Inhale. And last exhale, really draw your navel in, relax your shoulders as you breathe all the air out of the lungs. Amazing work. Now from here, I'm going to take my hands on either side of my head. Elbows are wide, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to go into a seated cat-cow here. So inhale, curve inwards, and exhale, open your elbows and widen through the chest. Good. Inhale. And exhale, extending the spine as you bring the gaze up. Inhale, curve forward. Exhale, open through the chest. Good. Inhale, curve. And exhale, arch the spine as you separate those elbows nice and wide, mobilizing the spine. For 3, 2, really stretch those elbows open. And last 1. Nicely done. Bring the spine back to neutral, lower right hand to the mat, lift up and over with that left arm, stretching through the side body, lower and switch sides. Inhale to center, exhale to reach and stretch. Moving from side to side, continuing to mobilize the spine, keeping the chest open. Good. Stretching through the neck here as well as we bring the ear down toward the shoulder. Good. Let's go. 4, reach a bit further. 3, lengthen through those fingers. For 2, and final 1, reaching. Amazing work. Now we're going to move down onto the mat and mobilize the hips. So I'd like you to come to the top of your mat, drop down onto your left forearm, pick your right knee up. We're going to circle it forward, and then as we come around, we're going to stretch the leg out. So we're circling that leg forward and stretching and lengthening out on a diagonal, keeping the neck long here. Good. Let's go 3 more. Nice full extension of that leg, mobilizing the hip as you circle around. And last 1. Nicely done. Lowering knee down to the mat, dropping down onto right forearm, picking that left knee up and circling it and extending it. Good. Circle and extend, lengthening through those toes, mobilizing the hip joint, waking up that lower body. For 3 and 2, really point through the toes. And final 1, nicely done, lower down. Now from here, we're going to mobilize the shoulders. So I'd like you to position the knees so they're below the hips, wrists are below the shoulders, neck is long, gaze is down on the floor. We're just going to allow ourselves to sink between those shoulder blades while keeping the arms straight. and then we're gonna push the mat away, broadening across those shoulders. So we're gonna retract the shoulders, letting them fall together, and then protract the shoulder blades as they separate and we push the mat away. Retract and protract the shoulder blades. Sink between those shoulders and then push mat away, broadening across the shoulder blades. Good, let's go 3, 2, really push mat away, and final 1. Good, keep those shoulders protracted. And now we're gonna step back into plank, right foot back, left foot back, creating a nice flat line with the body. I want you to really power up through the core and those shoulders, holding here, and then piking back into a downward dog, flattening out the upper back. Good, lifting those hips nice and high. You can bend in the knees as much as is needed to get that hip elevation, and then we're gonna come forward into our plank, shoulders above the wrists. Good. Stretch back into your downward dog, and then come forward into plank, engaging the core, flattening the body. Good. Lift and lengthen through the tailbone, and then shoot forward into your plank. Good. Let's go 3, and 2. Lift abdominal wall as you hold in your plank. Last one, we're gonna come down and hold in our plank for 10, 9, 8, lift those abdominals, 6, 5, nice broad shoulders, 3, 2, and 1. Lower knees to the mat, take them nice and wide, and sink back into a child's pose. Stretching and lengthening through those arms, stretching and lengthening through the spine for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself up to a seated position. Nice work with that warm up. We're now going to move down onto the mat and focus on our abdominals. So roll down with control. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders down on the mat. We're going to just really ensure that our core is switched on to begin with. So spine is in neutral. I've got a little bit of space between my low back and the mat. From here, my hands are up on my abdominals. I'm gonna inhale, and as I exhale, I'm gonna tuck my tailbone, pressing my low back into the mat and engaging the core. Good, fingers move down, abs move down away from your fingers as you tighten that abdominal wall. Nice work. Now relax your abdominals, deep inhale, and exhale, flatten abdominal wall, pressing low back into the mat. Good. Inhale, let your pelvis tilt forward slightly, creating a little bit of space between your low back and the mat. And then exhale, tilt your pelvis back, press your low back into the mat and engage your core, pulling your belly button down toward your spine. Good. Inhale, relax those abdominals, spine goes into neutral. And exhale, tilt your pelvis back, engaging your core. Nice work. Now we're going to put the pelvis into that flat back position, put the spine into that flat back position, engage the core, and from here we're gonna go into our ab exercises. Now I'm just gonna keep one hand on my abdominals here, and I'm gonna take one hand behind the head to support, just to ensure that I'm really contracting those abdominals as I get into this exercise. So I'm inhaling here, and as I exhale, I'm gonna bring my head up and bring my right knee up at the same time, pressing low back into the mat, engaging the core. Lower, inhale and exhale. Pressing low back into the mat and engaging abdominal wall down towards your spine. Good. Using that hand there as feedback, as a reminder to contract the core as we peel up. If you feel like you don't need your hand there, if you've got that core engagement down, you can take both hands behind your head as we bring alternating knees in toward the chest. Good. Inhale to lower the foot and head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale to lift. Amazing work. We've got 4. Lift up a little higher into that crunch, flattening low back to the mat for 3. Nice work. And 2, breathe out to lift. And final 1, curl and crunch up. Nicely done. Now from here, we're going to bring the right knee in toward the chest, taking a hold of just below the right knee with the right hand, taking the left hand around the shin, hugging that knee in close, extending opposite leg out long on a 45-degree angle. We're gonna go 1, 2 with the head down, and then 1, 2 reps with the head up. Good, so 1, knee hugs in, and 2, 1, and 2. Good, lower for 2, lift for 2, good. Inhaling and exhaling, lifting up for that extra bit of challenge, good. Lower down and lift it up. Nice work, hugging alternating knee in toward the chest, tightening the abdominal wall as you hug knee in, good. Lower, lower, lift, lift. You're doing so well. Good, keep it up. We've got 3 more sets. Lower, lower, last set. We're gonna come up and hold. Pick up the pace for 10, 9. Keep that head, neck, and shoulders elevated if you can. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees in. Nice work with those. Okay, from here, we're going to take hand over hand, interlocking the thumbs. Take the hands overhead, palms facing up toward the ceiling. We're gonna bring the knees, the legs into tabletop, squeezing the legs together. Now really connecting the low back with the mat here. Bring your knees in a little bit more closely if you need to get that flat back position. We're going to inhale and exhale, cross over, keeping low back pressing into the mat. And then to center, come to center, curl and crunch up, working the upper abs, and then cross over to the right. Good, lifting left shoulder blade up off the floor. So you're lifting to center, lowering, lifting up and over to that left side and lowering. Good, so we're working the upper abs in the middle and we're working those obliques as we cross over from side to side. Now be really careful as you cross over. You don't want to be lifting one of your bum cheeks or hip bones up off the mat. That lower body stays stationary, that lower back stays imprinted. We're just rotating around the rib cage to get into that waistline. Good. Coming to center between each crossover. Now if you want to step up the intensity, extend the legs. If that's too much, keep them bent. If legs are extended, toes are pointed. Good. Really challenge yourself by picking your shoulder blade up off the floor to get that crossover. Good. Last set. Back to center. And cross over. Amazing work. Bring your knees in toward your chest. Gently rock from side to side, massaging your low back on the mat for 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, from here we're gonna go into a full rollover. If that's too much, you can start from a half rollover position. So the half rollover looks like this. You're sitting up, you're in a C curve. You're coming up, lifting, crossing over to one side, crossing over to the other, and then lowering and holding in that C curve. If you're doing the full roll up, you're coming all the way up from the mat. So choose your level of challenge. If you're all the way up from the mat, it looks like this. Good. So now rolling down, either all the way down or into your half roll up position. Let's go. Peel up. Lift those arms, cross over left leg, cross over right leg. Tuck your tailbone, curve back. Good work. Lift up, lift your left leg, lift your right leg. Tuck your tailbone, engage your core. Good. Use those upper abs to lift, pulling navel in toward the spine, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Good. Nice control. Working those lower abs on the way down. Working the upper abs as you lift up. Good. We've got 3, Nice strong legs here. Toes are pointed, thigh and calf muscles switched on. Woo! 2. And last one, we're coming up, we're crossing over, and then we're folding into a back body stretch. Stretching it out here, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 and 2 and 1. Amazing. Now from here, we're going to finish off with one more move with this hand over hand position of the arms. So we're coming into some upper ab crunches to really make sure we targeted those upper abdominals. We want to bring the legs into tabletop or into a full extension. We're going to pulse up and lower down. Pulse up, reaching fingers toward the ceiling and lower. Lift and lower. Lift up high, split second pause at the top, and then lower down. So really focusing on working those upper abs, building that strength, tone, and definition. Let's go 6 and 5. Lift a little higher for 4. You can do it. 3 and 2. And final 1, we're gonna come up and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the legs. Take your arms or your hands on either side of your shoulders and just peel up into an abdominal stretch. You can stay down on your forearms if that's more comfortable for you. Stretching it out here, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through those abdominals for 3 and 2 and 1. Great work. Okay, we're now going to move into some more oblique work and then transition from there into our lower body work. So we're coming down onto our forearms. We're positioning the right forearm so it's parallel with the top of the mat. Left forearm is parallel with the right forearm. Shoulders are broad, so we're pushing the mat away. We're going to extend the legs out into a plank, so we're creating a nice flat line with the body. Options, you're either moving from side to side in a full side plank position, or you're using the support of your knee as you come down from side to side. Okay, so that's an easier variation. So we're in that low plank, we're crossing over, we're gonna hold there and pulse the hips up for 1, abs in 2, and 3. Amazing. Lower down and cross over, lifting arm up, pulsing for 1, 2, cinching in that waistline, and 3. Good. Crossing over, working those obliques as you pulse that hip up. Good. And hold, and then cross over. Good. So you've got your full side plank position, or you've got that knee down on the mat for support. Either or. Your aim here is to really pick that lower hip up as you draw your navel in towards your spine, working through these pulses. 2 and 3, good work. Last 4 sets. 1, 2, and 3, nice open chest. Lift, lift, and lift, good. And on our last one, we're gonna come up and we're gonna pulse for 10 on each side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, lift up nice and high. 3, 2, and 1. Woo, switching sides, working that waistline, getting into position and pulsing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Lower down onto your side. Now we're gonna switch it up, moving into our lower body work. We're gonna start off with some sideline work to work the thighs and the side booty, gluteus medius. Then we're gonna move into our upper body work, and then we're gonna finish off with some gluteus maximus work. So we're breaking up the lower body work a little bit here. We're picking up the legs, hinging forward, coming into a pike position. We've got this hand down on the mat for support. From here, I'm going to just turn the top toes out slightly so that the heels are turned in toward each other. We're really switching on the thighs on both the lower and the top leg. Now we're lifting and squeezing those heels together, lifting and tapping heels together, lengthening through the neck, engaging the core, pointing hard through the toes. Good. Lift and lower, tapping those heels together. Imagine a magnet pulling them together. Let's go 9, 8, driving heel down with resistance. For 5, lengthen through the neck, engage the core. 3, 2, and final 1. Good. Now from this position, we're going to go into some V lifts. So we're going to bring the top leg forward, tap the heels, and then send it backward. So we're drawing a big V in the air with the heels being the point at the bottom. Good. So we're coming forward and backward. If you're losing stability here and you're really rocking around in the hips, do a smaller V. So really focus on a more controlled, precise movement. Good. If you've got the stability and the strength, you can do the larger V. Good. As you come up and back, I want you to really focus on stabilization through the trunk, working the thighs and the glutes at the same time. Hips are working here too. Amazing work. Let's go 5 and 4. I can really feel it as I bring that leg back behind me. 3. Last 2. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. And final V. Lift and lower. Good. Now you can turn the toes down again so that the legs are perfectly parallel. We're going to lift the top leg and we're just going to pulse it up and down. Now, you have an option here. You can keep that lower leg down on the floor, or you can lift it up for more of a challenge, really pressing into my supporting hand. Good. Amazing work. Really switching on those legs. Toes are pointed. Thighs and calves and hips are engaged. Glutes are working. Good. Let's go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax those legs down. Nice work. Now we're going to switch our focus onto our inner thighs. You can have that top leg behind you, or you can bring it in front, whatever's more comfortable for you. We're going to lift that lower leg, really switching on the calf or the inner thigh muscles. We're going to lift the leg and hold for 1, 2, 3. Then we're lowering down. Lift 1, 2, 3. Lower down. Good work. Lift and squeeze for a count of 3. And then lower down. Lift 2, 3, and lower. Good work. Lift 2, 3, and lower down. Really switching on those inner thigh muscles for 4 and 3. Lift and squeeze for 2 and final 1. Lift and squeeze and lower down. Now we're coming up for a double pulse. So it looks like this. Pulse, pulse, lower. Just hover the foot above the floor. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Good work. Double pulse. Really feeling the tension and the work in those inner thighs. Good. Let's go 5 and 4. Last 3. Pulse, pulse, and lower for 2. And final 1. Great work. Lower down for a minute. We're going to prepare for the final push here for these inner thighs. We're going to do some little pulses for 20. So lifting that lower leg and pulsing up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Nice tight core, relax those shoulders. 3, 2, 1, last 10. Lift a little higher if you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, relax it down. My inner thigh was burning. I hope yours was as well. Okay, let's swing around and do the other side. So we're coming down onto the side body, getting nice and long and comfortable, propping head up on hand or outstretched arm, sweeping the legs forward into a pike position. Now from here we've got that supporting hand down on the mat. We're really switching on all the leg muscles as we turn the toes slightly out and then go into those heel taps. Moving down through the air as though it were thick, moving with resistance. Good. Coming up and lowering down, imagining that magnet drawing the heels together with force. Good, let's go. 8, 7, stretching and lengthening through the leg as you move. 4, 3, 2, you're doing so well, and final 1. Good. Now moving into those V-shaped kicks, sure. We're bringing the leg forward, lowering, and lifting. Good. Lifting, and lifting to the back. Lifting to the front, and lifting to the back. Drawing that V shape in the air, making sure it's controlled, whatever size you're doing. Lifting, and lifting to the back. Feeling that work in different areas of the thighs and glutes as you move with control. Good work. Relax those shoulders, engage that core, really important here. Let's go. 5 and 4, nearly there. For 3 and 2, great work. And final 1, lift it up and lower it down. Great. Now we're moving into those leg pulses. You can have that bottom leg down or you can lift it up for more of a challenge. I'm really pressing into my supporting hand here as we lift and lower that top leg, tapping it to the lower foot and lifting it right back up. I know these are really tough. This works into the core here as well. Really working that stability and core strength. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Now we're going to bend. Oh, no, we're bending that top leg and getting into position for our inner thigh work. So lengthening through that lower leg. We're gonna lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower. Good. Lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower. Nice work. Really switching that focus onto the inner thighs. Lifting up and holding and lowering, just hovering the leg above the floor so the tension stays on those inner thighs the entire time. Good. Let's go. 4 and 3. Last 2. Nice long relaxed neck. And final 1. Good. Now lowering down for a moment, preparing for our double pulse lifts. So we're pulsing and lowering. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Good. Lift, lift, and lower. Try to lift a little bit higher each time. Really maxing out that work in the inner thighs, making this exercise really count, making it really effective. We've got 3 more for 3 and 2 and final 1. And lower down, preparing for those 20 pulses. So lifting that lower leg, lengthening through the toes, and pulsing it up. Breathing deeply. Good work. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Bring the legs together. We're going to lift ourselves up into a seated position, and we're going to stretch a little bit before we move on to our next set of exercises. So I'm bringing one foot in toward the thigh, lifting up and folding over, stretching through the side body and stretching the legs here. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Reach a bit further for 3 and 2 and 1. Recenter and switch sides. Lift up and fold over. Breathing deeply here. Reach a bit further for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Recenter. Amazing work. Okay, from here we're going to get into our upper body work. So we're going to start off with some plank and push-up exercises, and then we're going to move into some tricep work. So we're starting off in an all-fours position. We're broadening across those shoulders. We're at the top of the mat, so we've got space behind us to plank out. We're engaging the core, pulling navel in, stepping the right foot back into plank, stepping the left foot back into plank. Now we're piking up into our downward dog, stretching and lengthening through that upper back. Deep inhale here. As we exhale, we come forward into our plank. Options, you can go into a full push-up here, or you can lower your knees, keeping the elbows in close toward the side of the body. We're lowering the chest and pushing mat away. Good. Holding in plank, piking back up to downward dog. Good. Come forward, lower knees, lower chest, and push up. Plank, pike up. Good. Repeat. Come forward, nice tight core, lower knees, lower chest, push up through the heels of your hands, come into a plank and pike up. Nice. Come forward, building strength as we lower down and push up, holding plank and piking the hips up toward the ceiling. Good work. Coming forward, nice tight core, lowering, keeping the neck long and the shoulders down away from the ears. You're doing so well. Really firing up that upper body, working those triceps as we lower and push up through the heels of the hands, planking and lifting. Good. Lowering, pushing up with a lot of power and energy. Let's go 3 more. Lowering, pushing mat away. Nice high plank. Good. Lowering. And final one. Lowering, pushing up, lifting, piking back, and just holding for a moment in your downward dog. Lifting those hips nice and high, letting the head hang between the shoulders, gaze is on the shins, stretching out the back and the shoulders for 3 and 2 and 1. Lower down. Nice work. Now we're coming into position for some shin lift work. So we've got our wrists below our shoulders and our knees below our hips. We're pushing the mat away so we're nice and broad across the shoulders, and we're curling the toes. We're inhaling here, and as we exhale, we're going to come up and hold for 1, 2, and 3. Shins are parallel with the floor, and then we lower them down. Good. Coming up, lifting abdominal wall, holding for 1, 2, and 3. Good. And repeat. 1, 2, and 3. So as you lift up, I want you to breathe out, lift abdominal wall, keep the back flat. Good. Imagine as you lift up, you could place a tray on your back. So your back is nice and flat, core is engaged, trunk is strong and stable. 2, 3, and lower down. So working the core as well as the upper body strength here. Nicely done. We've got 3 more sets. 1, 2, 3. They're harder than they look, aren't they? Good. 1, 2, and 3. Good work. On our last one, we're gonna come up and hold for 10 seconds. So power up through those shoulders. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to come up and hold for 10, 9, 8. If you need to tap your knees down for a second, just do it and come right back up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Widen knees and push back into a child's pose. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. I'm just gonna wave my hand gently from side to side to get rid of any stiffness or tension in the wrists as we stretch and lengthen through the spine for 3 and 2 and 1. Amazing. Okay, from here, we're gonna come down into a low plank and we're going to repeat that sequence of holding for 3 seconds. So coming down into my low plank position, arms are parallel, elbows are below the shoulders, stepping back into low plank, creating a nice flat line with the body, tapping knees down to the mat, and then lifting, tightening the core, 1, 2, and 3. Tap knees and lift, 1, 2, 3. Broad across those shoulders, tap knees and lift. Good work. Tap knees and lift. Really flexing through those heels. Maybe you eliminate the tap altogether and you're just holding in a low plank. That's an option too if you want more of a challenge. Good. Try not to collapse in your shoulders. You want to be keeping those shoulders nice and broad. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Last 3 sets. 1, 2, 3. Get low in that plank. Good. 1, 2, 3. Lift abdominal wall. Last one. We're coming up and holding for 10 seconds. Holding low plank. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing work. Stretch it back for 3 and 2 and 1. Okay. From here, we're now moving into position to do some tricep dips. We're going to start off with the bum on the floor, and then we're gonna lift the hips up if that feels right for you. Otherwise, you can keep your bum down on the floor the whole time. I'm going to send my elbows out behind me. Fingers are facing toward my heels. We're really wanting the chest to be open here, and we're gonna try to resist letting the elbows splay out to the sides. We wanna keep them back behind us so we can really feel the work in the triceps. Now from here, we're going to lower and lift, lower and lift. So lower back and push up through the heels of the hands. Good, focusing that work on the triceps. Lowering and pushing up, straightening the arms. Lower, bend the elbows and push up. Good, inhale and belly to spine here as well. Nice tight core as you work those triceps. Let's go 5, 4, push up through the heels of the hands for 3, nicely done. 2, you're doing great. And final 1, push up. Good work. Now, if you're ready, we're gonna go into a reverse tabletop. Otherwise, keep your bum down on the floor and continue with that variation. Either way, you're gonna be working your triceps. From here, abdominals are engaged. We're gonna lower and push up. We're moving slowly here. Slow, hard work. Good. Lower, hover your bum above the floor and push up through the heels of your hands. Lower and lift. Really focusing on the backs of the arms, doing the work here. You're doing so well. Amazing. Let's go 5, push up. 4, working that definition and that strength in the backs of the arms. Good. Last 2. And final 1. Extend your legs out long. Lower your bum down to the floor. Lift up with those arms and fall forward into a back body stretch. Breathing deeply here. In through the nose and out through the mouth for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Okay, so as mentioned, we are going to now move into our gluteus maximus work. So we're going to come down into an all fours position. You can either be up on your hands like so, or you can give your wrists a bit of a rest and come down onto your forearms. Make sure either your wrists or your elbows are below your shoulders, spine is long. Any curvature in the lumbar spine, I want you to just gently tuck your tailbone to set yourself up not to hurt your lower back. We're going to extend the left leg out long, and from here we're going to elevate the leg and really switch on the glutes as we lift and lower the leg. Good. Now notice I'm not letting my toe tap down to the mat. I'm keeping that leg suspended in the air. Lengthening out through that big toe, squeezing the left glutes as I lift and lower. I'm particularly squeezing them at the top of every lift. Good. Amazing work. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, contract your core every time you lift. 6, nice long neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're bending the knee, hovering the knee above the floor, not letting it touch, and then lifting bent knee and big toe up toward the ceiling. Good. Lift. Squeeze the bum. Lift. Lengthen through that neck. Gaze stays down on the mat. Let's go. 10, 9, point through the toes. 6, 5, working that booty. For 4, keeping the hips square with the mat. 3, and 2, lift a bit higher. Last 1, good. Now we're gonna flex the foot, extend the leg, heel to bum, lower, lift, repeat. Heel to bum, hamstring curl, lower the knee, hovered above the floor, lift and repeat. Good. Bending, lowering, lifting, extending, keeping that foot flexed. Good work. We've got 10. Lengthen through the neck, keep those shoulders down away from the ears. 9, nice tight core. Good. For 6. You're doing so well. I know these are really tough. For 4, last 3, really engage that hamstring as you pull the heel back. For 2, and final 1, lift, extend, bend, and we're gonna hold in a bent leg position and pulse up. Good. 7, 6, 5, 4, pressing that heel up toward the ceiling, and 1, squeeze, lift and hold, and lower down. Whew, oh my goodness, that was really tough on that left side. Stretching and lengthening through the spine, breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. For 3, and 2, and 1. Good work. Now we're gonna switch sides. So coming down on into that all fours position or down onto those forearms. Lengthening through the neck, tucking the tailbone to protect the spine, squaring the hips and shoulders with the mat. Extending the right leg out long, pointing through the toes, lifting, finding that length, and squeezing those right glutes. Good. Pausing at the top of the lift for a maximum squeeze and then lowering back down, just hovering the leg and the foot above the mat. Good. Really engage your core with every lift. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, working those glutes. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're bending at the knee, lowering and lifting. Keeping those hips square with the mat, relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Lift abdominal wall every time you lift that knee. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, lift a bit higher, 7, squeezing those right glutes, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, extending the leg, not getting a rest on this side, flexing the foot, bend, lower, lift, extend. Good, bend, lower, lift, extend. Amazing work, you can do this. Really focus on those hamstrings and glutes working hard here, getting maximum benefit out of this exercise. Such an effective way of lifting your bum. Good, building strength, tone, definition, getting that shape. Amazing work. Let's go 4. Shoulders down away from your ears for 3. Tightening abdominal wall for 2. And final 1. Whew, bum is on fire. Hold it here and pulse. 10, slow. 9, 8, pressing that heel up toward the ceiling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, oh my goodness, I'm shaking. Okay, take your knees nice and wide and stretch back into puppy pose. So your hips stay elevated here. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth as you stretch out the back and stretch out the hips. For 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, final exercise here before we stretch. We're going into final exercises into our bridge work. So we're going to lower down onto the mat. Get nice and comfortable here. Feels good to switch positions after working so hard in that all fours. We're gonna press the arms down on either side of the body, and we're gonna position the legs so they're hip distance apart and the heels are below the knees. From here, we're gonna tuck the tailbone, engaging the core, and then we're gonna peel the low back up off the mat, peel the mid back up off the mat, and peel up onto those shoulders, coming into a bridge. Good, nice flat line here, tucked tailbone, tight core, as though there was a corset around your waist. We're gonna lower and lift, driving up through the heels, keeping that tailbone tucked, and lift. You can keep your hands by your sides here, or if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can take your arms above your shoulders. I think I'm gonna keep my arms down for stability so I can really focus on that lower body and that core as I lift and lower with control. Let's go 5, squeezing the bum with every lift. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now from here, we're gonna go into some marching. We're gonna lift the left leg and lower, lift the right leg and lower. Now, as you do so, I don't want you to let your opposite hip drop down. So your aim here is to keep those hips level as you lift and lower that leg. Good. You can move as slowly as you need to. Try to keep those hips elevated and level. Let's go 5, 4, 3, keep those hips up there for 2, and final 1. Nice work. Now from here, I'm gonna cross my right leg over my left, and I'm gonna lower and push up through left heel. Lower and lift, squeezing the glutes. 8, 7, keep those hips elevated. 6, 5, driving up through the heel for 4. Feels really intense in that glute. 3 and 2 and 1. Switching sides, putting weight in the right heel, crossing the left leg over, lowering and driving up through right heel. Lower and lift. You're doing so well. 7, push up. 6, focus on those right glutes doing the work. For 5 and 4. Lift up a little higher for 3 and 2 and final 1. Lower your feet, reach your arms back overhead, reaching and stretching, and lower down 1 vertebra at a time. Good, bringing your knees in toward your chest here, hugging it out for 3 and 2 and 1. Great work. Lowering your feet down to the floor. We're gonna move into some stretches now. So I'm just gonna cross my right leg over my left, interlace my fingers, taking them behind the left thigh, and just hug that left knee in. Good, breathing deeply here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Connecting the low back on the floor to stretch through the lumbar spine as well as the hips and glutes. Breathing deeply, hugging that knee a little bit closer for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Switch the crossing of your legs. Hugging opposite knee in, feeling that stretch in the glutes as you pull that knee in toward your chest. Breathing deeply. Good. Hugging it in a little bit closer. Feeling the stretch in the low back as well for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering down from here. I'm gonna bend one knee in and extend it out long, stretching and pulling the leg back toward the chest. Then I'm gonna bend, inhale, and exhale, stretch, pulling the leg in. Good. Inhale to bend gently, and exhale to stretch it out long. Good. Last one, we're gonna bend and we're gonna hold. So we're bending the leg and holding in a hamstring stretch position. If you can't grab a hold of your calf, you can grab a hold of your thigh. Just really drawing that leg in, keeping it as straight as possible here as you go into a really nice deep hamstring stretch. I know a hamstring stretch can be challenging. There's definitely discomfort, but it is such an important muscle to stretch. Good. It can really help to alleviate back pain as well. Tight hamstrings can contribute to lots of aches and pains and issues in the body. So it's always a great idea to strengthen and stretch them. Okay, let's bend that leg and lower it down. Let's bring the opposite knee in toward the chest and extend and stretch. Bend and extend and stretch a little bit more. Good. Breathe out to stretch. Good. Last one. We're stretching and we're holding it here, either behind the calf or the thigh, straightening that leg as much as possible, feeling the tightness. My right side is always tighter than my left. Good, hug it in a little bit more. Feeling that lengthening up the back of the leg. Try to relax your shoulders here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, take your hands behind your thighs and roll up into a all fours position. We're now going to bring the right foot forward. Left leg is straight out behind you, and we're coming into a hip flexor stretch here. So I'm just sinking into the stretch, allowing that left hip flexor to stretch out here by just gently pushing the left hip forward. Good. We can take the right arm up, or the left arm up rather, and bend to the right, feeling and intensifying in that stretch. Feeling that stretch intensify. Good, reaching and lengthening. Reach a bit further. Ooh, it feels really good. For 3, and 2, and 1. Lower down. Switch sides, bringing your left foot forward. Right foot is back behind you. Right leg is nice and long and straight. And now we're going to just sink a little bit more deeply into that stretch, gently pushing that right hip forward. Good, sinking into it, picking up the right hand and reaching over to the left side of the body, feeling that stretch in the hip flexor, feeling it in the side body. Reach a bit further. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Now from here, we're going to sit in a cross-leg position and we're going to stretch out our shoulders and our triceps. So we're going to cross the right arm over the body, feeling a nice deep stretch in that shoulder, lengthening through the spine as we stretch, applying a bit of pressure to the back of the arm for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides, bringing that left arm across the chest. Good, pulling it in so that we can really feel that lengthening through the shoulder. Good, breathing deeply. Pull it back a little bit more if you can, not to the point of pain, but just so you're really feeling that stretch deepen for 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to stretch out the triceps now, so I'm going to lift the right arm overhead and just pull back on that right elbow with my left fingers. You can have a look from this side view as well. I'm letting my right fingers just trail down toward the middle of my back. Again, applying as much pressure as is comfortable to really feel that lengthening in the back of the arm, but not to the point of pain. Good work. Pulling it back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Take your opposite elbow up and gently pull back with right fingers. Really stretch it back to feel that lengthening in the back of the arm, releasing tension. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to stretch out our inner thighs. So bring the soles of the feet together, sitting up really nice and tall. You can just stay here or you can hinge forward. Whatever feels more comfortable for you. Just really feel the opening in the hip and the stretching of the inner thighs. You can take your hands on your knees and just apply a little bit of pressure if you'd like to deepen the stretch. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Hinging forward a little bit further. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing ourselves into a cross-leg position. Moving into some side bends here. Lengthening from the hip all the way out through the fingers. For 3, reach a bit further. And 2, lengthen through the side body. And final 1. Amazing work. Now we're going to roll out the shoulders. So lift your shoulders up, inhale, and exhale to roll them down and back. Lift those shoulders and roll them down and back. Lift them up nice and high and melt away tension. For 4, 3, 2, and final 1. Lift those shoulders up, melt them down and back, setting yourself up with really good posture for the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed that workout. It was definitely challenging. We strengthened and stretched our entire body, so you should feel really proud of yourself. Thank you so much for working out with me, and I really look forward to working out with you again soon. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.